Happy Sunday! It's your girl, friendlydramaqueen. Yes, I am batch filming. It's so hard to like get these videos out, like the ones where I have to like film and be in front of the camera. So I just try to do them all at once. Anyway, that's not the case. Welcome back. This video is kind of like joint with the last video I released, and I'm gonna be talking about dramas that I just completed recently, maybe like in the last 2 weeks, and what I thought of them. So I'm gonna start off by saying, oh, if you haven't subscribed, do so. This is the Friendly Drama Queen channel. We talk about Asian dramas, mostly Korean dramas, and if you like that kind of stuff, join a little community over here. All right, so the dramas that I just completed, I'm gonna start off with Call It Love, because I had been tracking Call It Love from like months before it was even aired. So I had really high hopes for it. And overall, I'm gonna say it's a good drama. I loved it, and it was a bit different from what I thought it would be. But once I saw more teasers before it released, I kind of calibrated my expectations to what the drama was going to be. Call It Love basically follows a young woman who plots revenge against a woman who ruined her family by targeting her son. Okay, that's the best summary for that. The thing that I loved about this drama the most, right, was how the characters were written. Before I even checked out the first 2 episodes, I had looked and read some reviews just to see what people were saying, and a lot of the feedback you're gonna get on this drama is that it's depressing tonally, that they use a lot of pinks in the cinematography, which makes it very like unappealing to some people. And I think some people said it was kind of boring. Now, those reviews kind of made me hesitant to like go into it, but I ended up checking it out because this is a drama I had on my radar for a while anyway. I'm like, how bad can it possibly be? And I loved it. I really did. I think I was quite surprised because for something that was very introspective and reflective, there was still some bounce to the characters. What I mean by that is like the characters still had some energy, you know? I think sometimes with these slice of life shows or these shows that people deem to be boring, the characters are kind of like just underwhelming. And I found that there was like, I don't know, maybe it's the way they were portrayed. There was a little bit more of life to the way the characters were on the screen. Like, for example, the female lead, she had a lot of sass. Like she wasn't just like sulking every 5 seconds, you know? She was blunt, she was sharp, she spoke her mind. Her family was like, the family dynamic portrayed on the show was really cool to watch. Like her sister was like kind of, not say ditzy, but like, you know, they had fun. It wasn't all doom and gloom, you know? And the male lead was a little bit more doom and gloom. Like he was lonely, but that was such an inherent character trait for him. That's like, his loneliness is the main core of his character. So I think that was portrayed really well. I loved every character. Like even the villains were, I love the villains, but even the villains weren't quite villains. It's just like, you could see the humanity to like every character, his ex, his old business partner, the way everything unfolded. So I was just like genuinely in love with this drama. I really highly recommend. I think the love story is just one of the sweetest. And if you don't even like the main couple, there was like the secondary couple, which is her sister, Hae-sung, and that she as a character was fun, and her love story, her love arc was really interesting to watch. The drama did start to get, I think, for me, it clicked around the last 2 episodes or the last 4 episodes, that I knew the direction that this was going to be going towards, where it comes to like the way things would be wrapped up. It wouldn't be like with this neat bow. It wouldn't be all sunshine and roses. And that's what it was. I think there's a bit of split opinion on how that ending was. For me, I'm not completely satisfied with that ending, if I'm being honest, but it doesn't anger me or even infuriate me because I fully expected it to end that way. Given the tone of the drama. When it comes to like the cinematography, I personally liked it. I liked The pink tint is there, but I think it added to the drama. I think, not added, okay, but it wasn't like offensive to the drama, if that makes sense. I think that the quiet moments and the introspective moments were really well captured. And I don't know, I just overall really enjoyed this drama. I have told you the ending is unsatisfying for me personally, but I get why they did it that way. So that's Call It Love. Loved it. Okay, now I'm about to stand about Taxi Driver. Because Taxi Driver, I watched both season 1 and 2, like binged straight, I think 2 weeks ago. And I just finished season 2, like probably last week. I don't know why it took me so long to watch season 1. What was I, okay, let me just walk this back. Taxi Driver is essentially this like revenge episodic type show where there's this like team, this ragtag team, and they run this taxi service where they avenge people who's been taken advantage, usually by the rich and wealthy or some sort of shady organization. So it's, the reasons why I initially didn't even want to pick this up was because it's episodic, and I already knew this was like a season type, multiple season format, and I'm not a fan of those. And also I just finished Glory, and like I just thought, okay, Glory was quite heavy. Glory Part 2, which by the way I have a video up on that. So I wasn't sure I wanted to pick this one up, but I did. I picked it up, and I'm so glad I did. Now, the episodic format is not as annoying as I thought it would be, because the cases are actually quite interesting. Like the cases, I don't think there's an episode in season 1 that they covered a case that I didn't find interesting. I don't think I even fast forward any part of this drama, if I'm being honest. And I am one of those hand on the fast forward button girlies when I'm watching dramas. I thought it was exciting all the way through and through. I like that they did, even if it seemed episodic, everything tied together in the end, especially in season 1. Season 1, the build up to the last 2 episodes, I think was just masterclass, like so good. And the last 2 episodes were iconic. They were so good. The action sequences, so well done. The cinematography, well done. I think the villains, it's like one of the few times where I think the villains, usually I find villains in like action-esque movies a bit slapsticky or just like corny. They're not really that evil. The villains in Taxi Driver were evil, at least for season 1. And I don't know, I can't even recommend this show enough. I get so excited talking about it, but this is a drama that I think it's worth moving up your backlog and checking out, especially if you really like revenge type shows. This is nothing like, I thought it would be kind of like the Criminal Minds Korean remake, which is not good, but it's not. It's really good. Season 2 is even, I don't want to say it's better, but it did not disappoint as well. It was just as good. Yeah, it was just as good. I would say it was just as good. I like the show so much. And then I heard it was going to season 3, and I'm like, okay, I'm in. I could watch this show till season 6 probably. Another thing that you need to get comfortable with the show is that there's not an obvious, like, it's not a love story. This is a revenge action type show. Overall, I'm babbling, but you need to watch Taxi Driver 1 and 2. If it's not on your watch list, put it on. If you're backlogging it, move it up. And the last drama that I happened to finish is a random one. I doubt people if you know this drama, but it's called Unicorn. So Unicorn is, the best way I could describe it is like Silicon Valley but Korean version. Yeah, that's the best way I can describe it. Which does not sound appealing because I absolutely love Silicon Valley, the show. So when I saw that this was a K-drama about like the startup culture, I was like, yeah, I gotta check this out. And also, this was produced by the same company that made Anna. So I went on this like whole thing of just like seeing all the things they've produced since I loved Anna so much, and Unicorn popped up. This drama has slipped so under the radar, and I think I understand why after I finished it. It is not for everyone. Confusion is what I felt for a good chunk of the drama, and there are like shining moments in the drama. Like little scenes that I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I really love this idea and this concept. But then overall, the show is just so much. It's just such a specific humor set that I think if you go in, especially because I'm reading English translations, I feel like maybe if I was watching this and I understood Korean, the message they're trying to send might flow a little bit more easily. I'm gonna put a scene in this if I can find it. But basically there's a scene in the show, and this is where it clicked for me. I'm like, okay, this is not for everyone, where they had a toilet scene, and one of the characters was talking with the software developers, and they went to the bathroom, and they had this whole little scene about opening the toilet or not opening it and relating it to this physics experiment, Schrodinger's cat. And they referenced so many other physics experiments in that scene. And I was sitting there like, what if people don't even know of these physics experiments? This joke would just fly right over their head. Like, for me, it was hilarious because I'm an engineer. So like, I'm aware of like I knew a lot of the nerdy jokes that they're trying to make. But I was just like, it's so specific. The humor is so specific. The joke is so specific that like, I don't think the average K-drama watcher would appreciate this. I think it's such a unique drama. If you have time and you're just curious to check it out, you can find it, sure. But definitely I can see why it's not mainstream and why it didn't become so popular, because it was a bit too specific in its jokes. Like, before you even can process one thing, that's like another thing drops, and that you just end up being very confused. I did like it, but I cannot recommend it. I just feel like you're gonna walk out being confused. There's a variety of jokes in this show throughout its entirety. Most of them are confusing, and some of them are so genius that you're like, wow. But because the genius moments are few and far between, that's why I don't think this is gonna be for everyone. So anyway, yeah, I've talked too much about that drama, but those are the dramas that I finished. I also picked up Chinese dramas, but I'm not going to talk in depth about them. I finished Road Home. Road Home is a second chance romance. It's one of those introspective, quiet ones. The couple gets together pretty early, so the show just follows them navigating like family pressures, career, distance, all that kind of stuff. I thought it's pretty nice romance, low-key romance drama to get into. So yeah, that's it. Let me know what dramas I want to know, what dramas have you just recently finished that you are begging people to check out? Is it going to be like the way I'm obsessed with Taxi Driver, like you need to check that out? What dramas? Let me know in the comments. Say hi. I'd love to hear from you guys. And I'll catch you at another video. Bye.